Alrighty guys, something happened on JP, we just got out of maintenance, and there's something I want to talk about, and it does have to do with everybody's favorite ex-boss of Chaldea, that being Olga Marie. Now you may be looking at this being like, what? There's 4 Olga Maries in the game? What's going on? And I'm going to explain all that to you in this video as we kind of get into my little theory crafting here. So, over on the JP side of the game, where they're at currently, where with their ordeal call story and everything, we have had some Olga Marie bosses, and let me just tab over to JP so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. They pop up on the map like randomly here. Now, I'm a little bit of a fraud, and I still have not done the water one, but functionally, you fight an Olga Marie at least now for one of the different elements, right? Like as we'll, I guess, kind of go back over so you guys can see, we have the fire one here with Flare. We have Aqua, which is the one that I'm still being a bum on. We have Grand Marie, the big Earth one, and then this Stellar one, I'm assuming is supposed to be Wind, but she's got a lot of lightning stuff going on. But I'm supposing it's supposed to be like Earth, Water, Fire, Air, like it's the 4 attribute things. And you get this, I guess you would call it like a disc item. Like you get a 1/4 of a disc for each one that you're able to beat. And we have been speculating because I think this has been going on for like about 2 years now, maybe 2 years plus on JP. So we've been speculating for a while that once we complete these, would we be able to, say, cash in for a free-to-play 5-star character? That's something we don't have. A lot of other gacha games do have these things where you can get a free version of some of these really high rarity characters. In fact, going on slight tirade here, but I play Dokkan, and Dokkan right now, they have a free LR that which is their highest rarity, that you just get as a drop for completing, I don't want to say a difficult quest, because if people in the comments are going to be like, wow, ZTL thinks that quest is hard, but, it might be difficult for newer players, but it's still a really strong, high rarity character that you're able to get that you could put in some work with. And FGO is one of the gacha games that's really been lacking on that, because we do have free 5-star characters, right? You think of like the free 5-star ticket where you're able to get, your Artoria, your Mordred, maybe a Waver, it's a Tamamo if you're feeling a little bit frisky. In the most recent one, you got some story-locked characters on there. Like I think Quetzalcoatl was on there, people like that. But we don't have any free-to-play 5-star rarity characters, right? All of our free-to-play characters that you can, free NP5 are 4 and lower. So this, I think, would be a really nice love letter to the fans of the game. You're effectively giving them a character that is immensely popular, because we all know that if they wanted to make Olga Marie a summonable character, people would lose their minds, right? People would flip out and they would dump all the Sanquarts they have into this banner. Like, I'm not even that big of a fan of Olga Marie, but like, I know I would still do it, right? I mean, it's just a really, I don't want to say iconic character, but I mean, it's like one of the first characters you meet in the game, and I think they've had a really good arc, from the end of Lost Belt 5 to, Lost Belt 7, and assumingly at the very end of, Part 2 as we're getting there, that's going to kind of complete this arc that she's been going on. And so, to not only offer that as a, welfare character, but also if they wanted to make her a 5-star welfare character, I just think for 10th anniversary, that's go big, go home, right? Most gacha games back in the day didn't even make it to their first year. FGO's made it to their 10th, and they've had their ups and downs, but people are still sticking around and playing the game. I mean, I'm still here making daily uploads on this. I've been doing that since Scotty dropped over on the NA side of things, right? So, through the highs and the lows, people have still been sticking around. I think that would be a phenomenal thing to give to the player base, right? I think as a go big or go home type of thing, that would make it one of the more memorable anniversaries. And even if, and I guess we could kind of I could pull this up, because we do vaguely kind of know what Olga Marie could do. We don't know what her NP would do, right? I remember covering this a while back, whenever we had Lost Belt 7, but if you play Lost Belt 7, there's a playable Olga Marie that you can get, and it's not like she's the craziest character. It would depend on what this NP would do, but her base kit's not bad, right? Being able to like shuffle her cards around, reducing skill cooldown is very, very nice. She has this fat 300% battery here, which to be fair, I've always told people, could either be really good or really bad. Because if the overcharge effect is like, reduce enemy critical attack chance, then it doesn't really matter that you're getting to 300%. And then if she was going to be summonable, it's also like, you got to summon for multiple copies. But if she's free and everybody can, like, utilize an effect like this, maybe they don't copy it one-to-one, but maybe it's something similar. Maybe she gives herself 150% gauge. That's just really nice, that you could easily proc her overcharges. I do have some faith with the new MASH and how just incredibly strong she is now, that they would make a welfare Olga Marie kind of try to mirror this. Maybe they would touch it up a little bit for, you know, current meta. Only weird thing is that she gives herself a buster buff, but it's listed as an arts NP. Maybe it is something where you could change the NP type for Olga Marie. I think that'd be kind of nice. Almost like, kind of like a free-to-play Space Ishtar in a way. Whatever you need on your account, whether it be an arts character, a buster character, a quick character, she could kind of be that for you. And I also just think that would kind of make sense given what she's able to do. I don't want to say too much about like Lost Belt 7 specifically, because I know not everybody is there yet. You know, it is a bit of a slog to get that far in the story, and it's not like beating Lost Belt 6 is the easiest for all boxes. I mean, people still complain about having to fight Demeter, so, you know, you can't beat Demeter, then, you know, Lost Belt 6 is going to be a little difficult for you. But I just, upon seeing this, it's like, wow, okay, they wanted to make sure that they, you know, got all of the Olga Maries in right before anniversary, and I just can't see that as a coincidence. I don't think that's something that they're like, oh, we're just dropping this because it's going to be kind of hype. I mean, it's the last piece we're missing, right? Unless maybe they want to do a light and dark Olga Marie, but then we're just in Yu-Gi-Oh now. Like, what do we need light and dark as well as the 4 main attributes? Come on, man. So I think this could be really sick. I do wonder if the Ascensions would just be the different versions of the Olgas. The weird thing about that, though, is that they vary in size a lot. So I don't know how the sprites would work. Like, just to show, like, this Olga is, like, huge. She's Gimanosaurus, bro. Like, she's huge. She's Gimornis, bro. She's huge, all right? Like, I don't know how you're going to balance that. And then, like, say, like, the Flare Marie, who is, like, normal sized, right? She's, like, normal, right? You know, I don't know how you would balance that for all the sprites, especially because there's 4 of them. You could always give her a costume, I suppose, as well. But I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Wanted to kind of gauge where the community is at for a potential welfare Olga Marie. This is something, if you're a longtime player, this is kind of like cope for a lot of people. You know, this is something we've been thinking about for kind of a while, but it seems really obvious because surely 10th anniversary would not be a summonable 5-star Olga Marie that you then have to use these materials to, like, level them up with. I guess that it could be something like, say you summon for where did she go? This Olga Marie, right? And then the different disc things are the Ascension material. I guess they could do that. But doesn't that kind of, like, that kind of feels bad, no? That, say this new character comes out, and you don't even have the Bleached Earth unlocked, so you can't even attempt these quests. And these quests, I mean, they're not hard, but you do need a lot of characters. Like, let me just show this off a little bit, like why I think it would be bad if they were using these as, like, Ascension material. Because you need to build, like, 10 different teams, right? You need to have, like, all these teams ready to be able to go through and beat these things. Again, for the water one specifically, how well you do in each of these matches affects how hard the final fight is going to be against, you know, Water Marie over here. So the fact that you need so many teams, I'm just not sure if that is something that, you know, new players are going to be able to do, especially because, again, some of these fights ain't easy, right? In the sense that it's not like, oh, I just bring my quick loopers and I just loop all over the place with, like, my NP1 Alexander. It's like, no, you're going to get creamed. You're going to get crushed. So I don't like the idea of trying to make them Ascension materials for Olga. I'm not a big fan of that one. But again, that's why I'm making this video. I like seeing what people in the community kind of think about it. You know, taking kind of my thoughts, I've kind of consolidated them into this video, showing some stuff off, giving some information, because maybe you're an NA player and you don't really know what's going on with that, so hopefully I explained it well enough in this video. But yeah, I'd like to get some thoughts from people as to whether or not, you know, do you think it'll be just Ascension material, which I'm not a big fan of? Is it, at worst case scenario, it's like material to limit break her to, like, a 6-star character or something? I think that'd be kind of lame. I really don't like that you make a gacha character and then you put in special materials that you have to go like real deep into the game to be able to get. That just doesn't feel good, especially for like a 10th anniversary character. Like 10 is a very big milestone. It's a decade that this game has been going strong, again, through the highs and lows. I'm just not a big fan of that, but if it's a welfare character that we've been building up for, that's kind of nice. You know, it's like a reward for people that have been staying up to date on the game. You get this very, even if they're not the best character in the game, maybe they're like, I don't know, top 10, you know, maybe top 20 even, that'd be kind of nice. You get this really decent welfare character at the worst case. And I don't know, that feels really nice. And they make it a really popular character. Because then at that way, I'd be like, okay, wow, so they're not stupid greedy, right? They're not dumb greedy, where, you know, Olga would be a very profitable character for them to get, but it kind of shows a little bit of good faith, you know, that, you know, maybe they'll make Galahad, right? Not to spoil too much, but recent events lead me to believe that Galahad is probably going to be the anniversary character. That's just kind of my bet on that one. So you could do that, and you could give everybody an Olga Marie. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Olga Marie, but I do know a lot of people that are humongous fans of this character and would love to be rewarded for, you know, just staying up to date on the story, you know, powering through some of these difficult quests and all that good stuff. So let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know. As always, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys in the next one.